It's Tuesday, April 20th, and the time for your Barbados Today morning news update. We begin with fears that the COVID-19 cluster from a church in the north of the country has the potential to get out of control, even as health authorities investigate the latest cluster involving some Cuban nurses at a testing facility. The disclosure from Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George. The island's CMO did not go into details but revealed that the Ministry of Health and Wellness has had to turn to novel ways to track down those contacts from the church cluster who are refusing to come forward. Emmanuel Joseph picks up the story.
The chief medical officer told Barbados Today that the ministry officials are using all the tools at their disposal to try to contact persons who are on their list but who have either not come forward or whose contact information was flawed. Declining to give details, Dr. George also revealed that the ministry will be deploying some novel ways to contact persons who are on the list but for whom contact information is not available to the ministry.
The situation which has the potential to get beyond this is the church cluster, because there still remains a bit unknown, and persons have either used the opportunity to either go into obscurity or have not come forward. And these individuals know who they are. As I said, we will put some measures in place to try to see where possible we can contact these people. But I would say that at present we have the situation under control, and the infections appear to be old infections, or late infections, which have come up.
But despite the challenges faced in locating the other persons from the church cluster who may be infected by the virus, the government's chief medical advisor has still struck a chord of reassurance to Barbadians.
We are making progress. We will get through this also. We have had some difficulty in making contact with a few of the contacts, and that's why the minister had appealed to persons who might have been in contact with persons from the church to report for testing.
Turning to the latest cluster involving a number of Cuban nurses at a testing facility, the chief medical officer said investigations are continuing to get to the bottom of that matter. Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
The Farmers Empowerment and Enfranchisement Drive program has not been performing as expected. That's according to Minister of Agriculture and Food Security Inda Ware, who revealed that the initiative has only reached a target of 1,000 farmers out of 2,000 initially planned. In an interview with the government's Public Affairs Department, Minister Ware admitted that while there have been setbacks, including the COVID-19 pandemic and water issues, plans are moving ahead to improve and expand the program into other areas.
I am hoping that we can then move the Farmers Empowerment and Enfranchisement Drive feed program to another level, where under Project CARE, we're going to provide 129 acres of land through the BAMC at Constant Wakefield and north of the island, Chance Hall is one, and I believe Bordens is another one. What we are going to do there is to bring in additional farmers, people who are currently unemployed, don't have other options, but can quickly get into farming, doing what we call cash crops or short-term crops, lettuce, tomatoes, beans, those kind of things. And we're also going to give them a chance to receive the cultivation services, just like we're doing under the current feed program. Cultivation services mean going the full distance in terms of preparing the land and then providing them with all the inputs so that they can get started as well.
Ware also revealed that persons in communities from around the island have also shown interest in recent times in having their own small plots of agriculture produce. He said the new Project CARE initiative would assist in that area.
The ministry has been receiving several calls from people who've been asking for assistance with cultivation within their communities. So you'll find that these are people who are like guys who are on the block not employed, looking for an opportunity, want to do some agriculture, but can't get assistance with cultivation and do not have the financial resources so to do. And what we've done is we've created this Project Care, which basically is a dovetail of care packages. What was happening is that the government was providing the care packages with all the agricultural produce. And when we looked at it, we said, well, this is something that we should continue, but give people the opportunity now to go back to their kitchen gardens with assistance from government.
Residents of White Hill St. Andrew are accusing the Barbados Water Authority of a lack of care and attention to their community, as well as ignoring calls for water access. When a team from Barbados Today visited on Monday, residents disclosed that the current situation was a frustrating one. Here's what some had to say.
It is terrible. Right now I feel like a CD that stick. Because we keep complaining and complaining and complaining, and instead it get better, it get worse. And I find that when I complain, the matter getting worse and worse. But I ain't gonna stop complaining. It is purpose work. I said that because Thursday I called the calling program about our water issue now. We ain't had running water in my tap for about 2 weeks now straight. And I call the water authority every day. Other persons that here call the water authority, and to no avail. They got community tanks in the area and they always empty. Obviously, if they come today to fill up the tank, obviously for not having water, lack of running water in your pipe for days, you're gonna go. Everybody can come and catch water. It gonna be empty. We need urgent rescue from this. Look, all we eating is dust. You open your mouth is dust. You're in your house is dust. You can't cook. You can't bathe. You can't do nothing. And then they're going to be sending a bill to your house.
I came into White Hill, this is 22 years, and I came into this problem, and it is only getting worse. Only last week I was telling some of the residents, we have to resort back to our pit toilets, that's what we know them as, pit toilets. I mean, you call, I keep telling the Waterworks Authority, I know you're all probably tired now, hearing the residents from White Hill complaining all the time. We have been abandoned. No matter what we do, no matter what we say, no matter how much we cry, we are not getting no help. And it is so hard.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Two developments in the region now. The Grenada Union of Teachers and government reportedly remains a deadlock as the union continues to agitate for a 4% increase in salary for its members. More from GBN News.
Government remains adamant that they cannot afford to pay at this time, while the GUT is saying they remain resolute until the 4% is paid. Both the GUT and the government's negotiating team met last Friday to discuss the 4% salary increase due to public servants since January. President General of the GUT, Jude Bartholomew, spoke to our news desk earlier today.
The government will say, well, come up with a date. Let us know. All right. All of the government goes on TV and tell the nation, you know, we are willing to pay. When things are right, we are willing to pay. But when things are right could be just an open statement. So what's about the 5 years and things are not right based on what the government is saying? So if you want to be reasonable and you say talking about compassion on the government side, all right, tell us, all right, give us a date or estimated date when you're going to be willing to pay the money. And they will not commit it. They would not give us not even an estimated date by which they're going to, to pay the money. All what they say to us is that when the economy is doing well, and that is a just open-ended statement, and that is the situation. So, being that it may, the Labour Commissioner did declare that they're deadlocked. All right, so we are deadlocked.
The GUT president explains the next step.
So what the Labour Commissioner has decided is that he is going to review the arguments on both sides, analyze the information, all right, and he's going to make some recommendations on or before April 30th. So we look forward to what he has to say.
And finally, on the international front, security has been beefed up as several U.S. states prepare for possible protest action as the jury deliberates a verdict in the murder trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin. The former cop is charged with murdering George Floyd. More from Reuters TV.
As the jury in the murder trial of ex-policeman Derek Chauvin began its deliberations on Monday, Minneapolis and other cities across the U.S. ramped up security measures, bracing for protests. Chauvin is charged with murdering George Floyd by kneeling on his neck last May. Floyd's fatal arrest has sparked nationwide anti-racism protests. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz declared a preemptive state of emergency in the Minneapolis metropolitan area and requested security assistance from other states.
We cannot allow civil unrest to descend into chaos. We must protect life and property. But we also must understand very clearly, if we don't listen to those communities in pain and those people on the streets, many of whom were arrested for speaking a fundamental truth, that we must change or we will be right back here again.
Tensions in Minneapolis have been running high over the Chauvin trial, as well as the death of another black man, Daunte Wright, who was shot by police during a traffic stop in a suburb of the city.
That's news. But for the very latest, visit us at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. And you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.